The Huawei MatePad Paper and the Remarkable 2 are both devices that have had a rigorous advertising campaign backing them. And both advertisement campaigns are very similar in that these guys are considered to be the best writing experience in the industry. But are they really? Let's check it out. Because of the apples and oranges differences between these two devices, we will just lightly touch on the specs. The Huawei MatePad Paper is 10.3 inches with 1872 by 1404 resolution at 227 ppi. The Remarkable 2 has the exact same screen in every single way except it's only 226 ppi. The Huawei has 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs onboard storage, whereas the Remarkable 2 only has 1 gig of RAM and 8 gigs of onboard storage. The Remarkable has a 3000 mAh battery compared to the 3625 mAh battery. The Remarkable can also be more expensive as well. If you choose the absolute cheapest case and cheapest pen, it ranges from $460 all the way up to $600 USD, or $299 if you don't want any pens or cases at all. The Huawei, already coming with a leather magnetic case and pen, is $470 USD. It is also very important to note the following about why these guys are so different. The Remarkable 2 is truly a note taker and a note taker only. It is a one-trick pony. There are no speakers, no audio, no microphones, no apps, no downloadable programs, no web browser, and there's not even a glow light, so you can't use it in the dark. The Huawei is more multifunctional and has no such limitations. In fact, they can both read books, both read PDFs, and both take notes. Now let's get this out of the way before we continue: the pen situation. The pen situation on both these units are quite infuriating. The Huawei's M Pen is the only pen you can use on this device, and you need to charge it. Not only that, you need to have your device's Bluetooth on full time in order to even use it. Furthermore, no other pen will work on this device at all, and the tips don't even last forever. They're more expensive than traditional tips, and you have to replace them. And if you lose the pen itself, it's $110 to replace. There's also no eraser on the pen, although you can swap the palette by tapping on the side to get the eraser, but you end up still having to use the tips. Also, the tips don't bend, so you lose a lot of writing feel, as it is quite a hard experience. Now for the downfalls of the Remarkable pen. Little do people know, when you buy the Remarkable, it actually doesn't even come with a stylus. In fact, it's one of the only devices in the entire industry that doesn't supply one to you. You actually have to choose either the marker for $80 or the marker plus for a whopping $130. Also, the $80 base pen doesn't have an eraser, and they got rid of one of the most beautifully built pens in the world, the marker signature. However, there is a massive positive to the Remarkable that the Huawei will never live up to, and that is that the Remarkable 2 uses Wacom, which means you can use any pen in the industry on this. Onyx, Staedtler, Lamy, Mitsubishi, Boyu, MobiScribe, King, Jim, Fujitsu, you name it. However, all that goodwill kind of goes away because one of the most upsetting factors that the Remarkable no longer being a viable product is that you have to pay a monthly fee on your credit card to even use it. With the free plan, you can, well, take notes. But anything else, inherently normal things that are found on every other device, like cloud storage, Google Drive, screen share, even simple emailing services, require you to pay a monthly fee, either $5 US or $8 US a month. And yes, that's every month. They don't even let you convert handwriting unless you buy the top level plan, which is going to run you $96 USD a year just to use features. Typically, the Remarkable is revered as a very slimming, overall, compact unit for a 10.3 inch, but putting it up against the Huawei MatePad, you will see how much bigger the Remarkable actually is. This bottom bezel, compared to this, is enormous. The screen-to-body ratio on the Huawei is worlds different. If you all want to see the individual review videos on these, you can check the video cards up above. They will show this one and this one in that order, and you can also check the end roll where we'll have these videos as well. The home screens are laid out very differently because this is using its own proprietary software. It is exclusive to the Remarkable, whereas this is using Harmony OS, which is based off of Android. You can install apps, you can install Amazon, you can install Microsoft OneDrive. Sky's the limit on this, which is why we can't really compare these two outside of just taking notes. As we said a few times, the Huawei is a multimedia tablet with speakers and glow light and videos and audio and all that. This is just a note-taking device. They look the same in terms of the actual appearance of both of these. They have roughly the same contrast. In fact, this has a very, very slight edge in pixel density. However, the Remarkable has way more pens. They have mechanical, pen, pencil, marker, fine lining, etc. These are all the pens you get on the Huawei. You only get 4. You do have different colors as well on both of these, but you only get 3 colors: black, gray, and white, black, gray, and white. Aside from the ability that the Remarkable can run Wacom, and we're going to exhibit that by showing you the Lamy, which has my customized name on there from Lamy, this has an edge over literally every other eNote in the entire world. If you write like that, it'll be that. If you write on an angle, it'll be that. If you write on a 15-degree angle, you can actually pepper the page just like you would with a flattened, edged pencil. No other device has tilt recognition, and it is not exclusive to the Remarkable pens. As you see, we're using a Lamy, and tilt recognition works perfectly fine. This is the only device in the world where you can do this type of dusting. The settings on the Huawei are limited to a few pens, an eraser, a selector tool, a text, and a voice note. You can drop in images, but other than that, you have limited colors, limited pens, and only a few line thicknesses. The writing experience is a little bit harder on this, and that's due to the pen. The pen doesn't have any other nibs, you can't use any other pens, and the pen tip itself is rather hard and just kind of like somewhat grippy at time hard rubber and somewhat slippery at times plastic. It doesn't even really know what to define itself as. It isn't the greatest experience overall, but it's the only pen you have to deal with. However, this does have an advantage that you can double tap the side of the pen to go in between the pen itself and the eraser. No other e-paper device does this in the entire world. It is mostly reserved for tablets and iPads. You have a few more features up top here where you can actually do handwriting to text, favorite, ad lock, share via applications, which is really useful. You can install different email services, you can put Microsoft Outlook, you can even print directly from this. So if you draw something, you write something, you can click on what you want to print, select your printer. You see we have an Epson in our office, click on that, and you can exactly print whatever's on your screen directly from your Wi-Fi network. The Remarkable 2 is far more extensive, worlds extensive. You have so many different pens, you have tons of different thicknesses, colors, and exported colors as well. What this is if you choose red, on the screen, what you're going to draw is this faded gray. When you export that, that's going to be red. So it's very good for grading papers, what have you. You can use the eraser, and you can use the eraser on devices like the Lamy, like the Remarkable at the back of the pen, etc. You also have this, which is selection tool. So if I select something, I can grab that, move it around, copy, paste it, cut it, put it on a new page, etc. The Remarkable 2 also has layers, which is extremely useful, and you have a bunch of them. In fact, you can make up to 5 layers, including the template layer for 6. And what that means is if I go to layer number 3 and I choose something like a paintbrush and I paint over that, if I were to erase what I have just painted, it will actually only erase the selection of the layer I'm working on, and everything underneath remains untouched. This device also allows you to convert to text and send, and does email and screen share, but none of these are available without the monthly Build Connect plan, where you have to actually pay $5 or $8 a month in order to do these simple things. So unfortunately we can't do those for you today because we're not a subscriber of Connect. Aside from the Huawei being not the greatest writing feel, the Remarkable is basically whatever you make it. You can use the Lamy, you can use the Big Me, you can use anything you wish, and it's all going to be a different experience each time. The screen itself, comparing the screens to screens, this has a lot more grit to it. You can almost hear the difference that this one is more sandpapery, which means as you move the pen on the screen, you're getting feedback that vibrates through the pen into your hand, and this is all going to be different based on what you're using. For example, the Lamy uses pretty much a plastic tip, but the Big Me's use a graphite composite. So when you use that on here, you get a more realistic feel, more so than the Lamy. You can even use the iReader pens, the Supernote pens, you can use anything on this unit. So this has a lot more flexibility and realism when it comes to writing than the Huawei does. Both of these devices advertise themselves as note-taking centric units. The Remarkable is, but it's more limited than almost anything else in the industry with the fact that you don't get a pen, there's no glow light, it's devoid of simple features, and the fact that you're billed on your credit card for just simply having it. On the flip side, the Huawei is no walk in the park either, as the pen is something that holds this unit back from being truly great. You can't use any other pens, you have to charge the pen, there's no eraser, tips are expensive, the pen is expensive, and you need to run Bluetooth on your device the entire time. So as you can see, advertising campaigns aside, neither of these two devices are perfect, but they're both beautifully built and somewhat capable e-note machines. For GoodyReader.com, this is Peter.